Good morning, everyone. It's Anifa Menon from hearthealthbrainhealth.com, encouraging healthy grieving and mindful actions. Today, my thoughts are all about seeing things from different perspectives and looking at things in slightly different ways, which is what I try to encourage people to do through brain retraining. And of course, I practice myself, so I am often in a reflective or contemplative space. And this is what I'm contemplating today. Today, I found a quote by Henry David Thoreau, which I really liked, which says, "If you are a seer, whenever you meet a man, you will see all that he owns, aye, and much that he pretends to disown behind him." So, if you're a seer, whenever you meet a man, you will see all that he owns, aye, and much that he pretends to disown behind him. So, what does this mean? So we see something that someone presents us with in terms of we meet someone, we get to see maybe their name, their profession, the work that they do, the home they live in, the car they drive, the neighborhood they live in, all of those sorts of things. We see that's what they own. And what much that he pretends to disown behind him. So pretends to disown. So I like to think about this in terms of knowing ourselves, right? So know thyself, that whole idea of pretends to disown. So let's say we all feel that we go through life and we've learned something from our life experience and we move forward and we think, oh yeah, I'm not like that anymore. I don't worry about those things anymore. Whatever we've overcome and handled. And again, I work with grief recovery. So this is on my mind of what do people feel that they have overcome? What do I feel that I feel I have overcome? So I thought about life and death, of course. And when I think about dying and loss in that perspective, I think it's reflective a lot of different areas in our lives. I think of my brother who I lost many years ago. And so I can say that I'm in a good space because I've done some healing, a lot of healing from that experience and learned the things that I feel have really pushed me forward in life. I look at this and I think, yeah, what is it in that I could pretend to disown? And in that, I can pretend to disown the awareness of death. Now, for me, the awareness of death has been actually quite clear. I have seen it, I've experienced it, I've seen it in my patients, I've seen my brother, but there's something connected to that process, right? So, there's a lot of love. I have a lot of love for my patients, friends, family. And so with love often comes a bit of fear too. So when there's love, there's a fear of loss. So when you think about that even when you love someone the most, the biggest fear is often losing that person. So sometimes this happens in relationship breakups. So it could be a breakup of a dating relationship. It could be a separation or divorce, and it could be a death, right? So all of these things are broken relationships. And of course, when I think about this, I think, yeah, I love looking back on the love that I shared with my brother. Now comes in my training in spirituality. And this is what I'm very focused on these days. With combining with the other things that I do, I like to look at what is the higher self thinking in this process. When we think about this, the soul level or the higher self or higher consciousness is always at ease because that space is forever. It's not that when the body dies or a relationship finishes, ends, that the spiritual aspect of that has gone away too. All of the good in that energy is still there. Any learning and wisdom that needed to come from it is still there and still continues if we choose to focus on it and contemplate and reflect. So I think, well, with spirituality, that definitely gives me peace. I know from the day that my brother died, in fact, that I always had a very strong feeling that he was okay. His soul was at peace. He was no longer in physical pain in this physical form, but he was okay. I was not okay. And the fact that I wanted him back was largely because I wanted him back. It was my desire of it would be better if he was here. Now, I could easily think ahead and think, wow, if he was here, he would have had to go through this much schooling. He'd have to get a job. He'd get married. Would I trust his wife? I'd be looking out for him. So if anyone was trying to use him, I would be there for him. All of those things. So of course, life is not so easy. So we know that all of those things. But what was the joy that I was missing was that he was here, right? Spiritually, I feel he is here. I feel that spiritually we have connections with people all over the place. And it's so beautiful when we connect with like minded thinkers, doers, feelers. And that is such a beautiful spiritual connection, which I love to encourage. I thought today I would remind you about something that Plato had even said that I just thought was so beautiful that I had to read it to you today. Before I read this to you, I would love for you to sit for 5 minutes after this video and just think about the things that are the things that you may have lost or felt a loss from or felt some grief from. And think about what are the deeper things that were the learnings from the experience, because that to me is the most important. So the quotation I wanted to read here from Plato, it's a little bit of a longer excerpt. So this says, the souls of people on their way to earth life pass through a room full of lights. Each takes a taper, often only a spark, to guide it in the dim country of this world. But some souls, by rare fortune, are detained longer, have time to grasp a handful of tapers, which they weave into a torch. These are the torchbearers of humanity, its poets, seers, and saints, who lead and lift the race out of darkness towards the light. They are the lawgivers and the saviors, the light bringers, way showers, and truth tellers. And without them, humanity would lose its way in the dark. I love that excerpt. So today I would love for you to shine some light from yourself about your own truth and the learning that you have accomplished in this time, or perhaps need to shed some light on to try to find the depth of things that have shaped you and your life today. And I leave you with that. I know that you can sit for 5 minutes and do this, and I sure hope you do. And remember, we're all growing, we're all learning, we're all lights for each other. As Ram Dass would say, we are all walking each other home. So I wish you a wonderful day, and I hope you remember, transform your mind and transform your life. Have a great day, everyone.